Assad, that's crazy. Assad. Wow. Dang. Joel, that's left field coming from you. That is so left field coming from you. What up, SoCal? Scent of the day, off non-collector's edition again. Have you, SoCal, have you tried putting a la extreme under it, or do you not have a la extreme yet? Yeah, you're not going to get a Ventus Absolute, but you will get something more smoky and masculine because, collector's edition leans fruity, but not like bright lemony fruity. It leans more like oak mossy canned pineapple, but put a la extreme under it 1-to-1. Think you'll be pleasantly pleased with it. I got from cheapies too expensive. If it smells good to me, I'll wear it. No, I know you do, Joel. It's just, it's funny contrast, Your scent of the days or your recommendations are typically all niche or like, off the beaten path perfumery. And then you're like, scent of the day, Assad. I have Assad too, so I'm not even tripping. Scent of the day for me was Maison Alhambra Afro Leather. I don't need mods, Snoop. You're looking at them. Hey, Stella, what's up? Fragrance questions, guys. Flood them in, man. We got the collection behind us. Over 100 bottles sitting there. What y'all got for me, man? I can help you out. Inspirations, clones, dupes, designer, niche, whatever y'all need, man. I got y'all covered. We're not going to make it long tonight. No, I tried to watch Demon Slayer. It's not for me. The whole concept of Demon Slayer, like, that's not my style of anime. I don't know what my style of anime is yet because every time there was one anime I watched as a kid because a bunch of breakdancers recommended it to me, and it was called what was it called? Death not Death Note. It was called something Punk. Desert Punk? I think Desert Punk was the name of the anime. He was a midget assassin hitman sniper, and it parried that with like some comedy on big-breasted anime chicks, and he would go into these towns and assassinate these dudes. So every episode was like one epic battle of him going into a town and having a shootout Western style with some guy. But that's the only anime I got into. But when I got older, I would ask around and say like, hey, what's your top 5 anime? And there would always be differences of opinion with animes. So the last anime I saw was probably Attack on Titan, and it was okay. It was cool at the start, but I don't like introspective animes, and a lot of animes are introspective. They're very slow and like narrative based, like epic inner dialogue type stuff. I don't like that. I don't like the Demon Slayer aesthetic. It's just a little too harsh for me. So, yeah, I don't know. I started watching the old Dragon Ball from the beginning where he's like a baby. So, we'll see how that develops. But yeah, Desert Punk is the only series I've watched all the way through. Happy birthday to all the birthdays. I wore my Assad again today recently, Joel, and it definitely got better. Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I hated Assad with a passion when I first bought it, and then it macerated into something amazing. Even though Sauvage Elixir with a twist isn't really my tea either. So I'm not the biggest fan of Assad, but I'm way more of a fan of it today than I was. There was a fragrance that Eternal Oud from Latafa, man, that fragrance macerates so good. It was chalky at first, and I've just been blown away. Like every month I give it, the vanilla seems to really round out and get creamier. So I've been really impressed with that. There aren't a lot of fragrances that I've needed to macerate, but Assad is one of them. Eternal Oud from Latafa, perhaps Atlas. Um, yeah. What else y'all got for me? I'm not going to be live long. I just figured I'd turn my camera on. I took my son to go see the Harlem Globetrotters tonight, and I'm so burnt. It's not even funny. Did you guys catch the episodes today on the Scent Bubble with the new intro? I think we did Atomic Rose from Initio and Coro Mandel from Chanel from the exclusive line. Y'all catch that? Yeah, Cowboy Bebop was cool. I did see like 3 or 4 episodes of like the human Cowboy Bebop on Netflix or whatever. And then I did see like 1 or 2 episodes of the cartoon Cowboy Bebop anime. I've tried a lot of stuff, but I haven't found mine yet. How forward is the caramel note in Prosciutto? I find it can be nauseatingly sweet in some frags. I'm gonna be honest. I don't get caramel in Prosciutto. I don't get caramel. You feel bad spraying a test strip with freaking Prosciutto because it's 55 ml, which is absolutely ridiculous. That's the only part that they actually failed in. Making 55 ml bottles for 50, 60 bucks MSRP. That's crazy. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I mean the caramel note is not distinct. You won't smell this fragrance and be like, "Oh yeah, there's caramel." But it's in there. I mean, if you stick your nose close to it, you can get a little whiff of it, but it's tucked a lot. And in fact, I would assume that in time with maceration, it will be almost undetectable. Just think of Prosciutto as Versace Eros Energy with more smokiness and more birch. It's like if Aventus Absolute and Eros Energy had a baby. It would smell like this. High compliment factor though with Prosciutto, and Prosciutto it smells nothing like Off Non Supremacy Collector's Edition. And for that reason, like I always just recommend those two now. No more Club de Nuit, no more L'Aventure, no more Not Only Intense for Man, no more Nitro Black, none of that, man. We're only recommending Collector's Edition and Prosciutto. Prosciutto if you want more Aventus Absolute, Collector's Edition if you want more Hassavat feel, and that's where we're leaving it. 25, 30 bucks after shipping. Pay the extra 10 bucks to get the better fragrance. I don't have that beardsome. Maybe Joel has it. Ultra Beast. They have 4 8 mLs for cheap. The bottle is just square, but the caps are awesome. Joel, DM me on Instagram a link to the collector's set or the decant set that you're referring to. Maybe I'll pick it up for the channel. Maybe I'll use that birthday donation that Kick sent me. We've got a couple of things on the way, though. We've got another 5-pack of Yamen Lale, so we can further interview that. Oh, we do have a treat, though. My boy Mike. So, do you guys remember the story I always tell about my friend from church who only buys niche? And I blind tested him on bright leather from Ferragamo, and he went and bought a 100 ml bottle right after. Y'all remember that story I always tell? What's up, brother? Had per show 1 since last year. It's definitely gotten better. A legit masterpiece. I agree. 10 out of 10 for me. The Brulee is supposed to be better than Altair, and Liquid Brun also stronger. Okay. Yeah, so that guy, Mike, who he's responsible for giving this the following reviews to this channel. So he gave me the Clive Christian Gourmand Oriental. He gave me Maison Francis Kirkjohn Amorous. He gave me the Escandalo from day 3. Those are just a couple. I know he's given me like 1 or 2 more. And he's coming over tomorrow. So he's bringing all niche fragrances tomorrow. Knowing him, he's going to bring a lot. I would love to go live, but I don't think my audience will be tuned in during the day, especially on a Saturday. So I'm probably just going to pre-record them for the channel so we can actually launch them. But anyway, Mike's coming over tomorrow with a bunch of niche perfumery. And we're going to shoot a bunch of content with him. Even play some like games and stuff with fragrance. So I'll have Mike on a couple upcoming episodes. You guys will really enjoy that. Because Mike has a really interesting nose. Like we do not share the same nose at all. He has very specific taste. He likes ultra manly fragrances, nothing feminine at all, nothing sweet. So he'll be a treat to have on the channel. And I'm going to try to mix it up. I'm going to bring my wife on the channel. I'm going to bring my son on the channel, one of my sons. I'm going to bring Mike on the channel. And then I have a couple of collabs this week. So tomorrow I also have Trade Fragrance coming on. I have Gator coming on next week. So there's a lot of guests coming to the channel. And I'm really excited because there's just a lot of good stuff, man. A lot of good stuff coming. I always like you guys to hear more perspective than just mine. You know, I have a lot of perspective on fragrance and people really appreciate that. But it's always better to just have kind of like a talk show feel with fragrance. So I'm trying to bring as many people on board as possible just to kind of offset my long-winded rants. Yeah, I haven't smelled coffee yet, Beard. What's up? Just chilling, rocking King of Seduction, absolutely, from Antonio Banderas. Nice. Scent of the day, Maison Alhambra Hercules. It's been a minute. I forgot how great it smells. Yeah, you know, that line from, I don't know what the line is called, but, you know, they cloned Caras and Herod and Percival and Carlisle, which Cassius is the only fragrance I have from that line. But all those fragrances are very well done for performance and accuracy. It's pretty surprising. That's some of Maison Alhambra's best work, in my opinion. A lot of new people coming out with content. Gator just set up a whole new shelf system in his room. His collection is looking awesome. He's doing lighting effects and all this cool stuff. So I'm gonna do a collab on Gator's channel for him because I want my audience to follow Gator. He's got a cool. We share a lot of the same beliefs on fragrance, but he just talks about fragrance in a different way. So he's a breath of fresh air. My boy Kix Griffey is finally going from lives to long form content. Not long form, probably short form content, but long form in the sense that he's still doing lives, but he wants to drop some video content. So he's been getting that off the ground. I'm going to call him this weekend and try and see if he needs any assistance getting that off the ground. But so definitely follow Kix, follow Joel. I would love you to get you on the show, man. All you need is a cell phone to get on. So if you have an iPhone, we can make it happen. I would love to. I mean, and I have a bunch of different ideas, to shoot by you. If you want to just be on the game show, Wheel of Fragrance, if you want to do some reviews, if you want to be questioned on some stuff, like we can do some top fives, we can do season breakdowns, we can focus on a particular house. I would love to have you on as well. Anyone know a good afternoon swim clone? Yes. Dang, what the hell is that afternoon swim clone? I think you might have to look into Luciano. I think Luciano has a good afternoon swim clone. There's a couple. There's actually like 3 that not a lot of people talk about. Rodolfo, gracias, amigo. Yeah, please, Joel, and definitely send me a link to that 4-pack that you were talking about from that house. I definitely might pick that up this weekend. But Greenlee sent Yaman Lail. Gator sent me some fragrances. Kix sent me, I think, a 5-pack of decants last week. So this week I should get all that stuff in. So 5 fragrances from Greenlee, 5 from Kix, couple from Gator, and then I have some stuff coming in that I ordered as well. So we just can't get through enough reviews, man. I want to go to my conceptual videos so bad. Like I've got a bunch of stuff sitting on hold. Like I've got, my trip to Neiman Marcus that I still like, it's just sitting on my phone. I just need to upload it, but I don't want to. I want it to be when I move to the concept stuff and start buying niche and all that. I don't want to mix it in all of the long form reviews yet. That's why I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I've been dropping like 2 videos a day because I have so many in the queue that I'm just trying to like get through them all. But it's like every time I almost get done with reviews, I get a bunch more fragrances in. So, another fragrance we're going to review provided by Kix was, I've got, Zaharoff Seraphim Red and Seraphim Blue. I review both of those coming up soon. Yeah, Peugeot definitely macerates more smoky and birchy. At first, when you first buy it, it's like so fruity. I really enjoy that it's macerating into the woods. You guys should do a thing where you each predict a scent blindly from a test strip. Well, that would be hard to do because, are you talking with Mike tomorrow? It would be tough with Mike because Mike carries so much niche. I mean, granted, I've smelled a lot of niche, but Mike doesn't even buy niche that's at Neiman Marcus. Like he buys niche houses that you have to order from. So I probably have never even smelled anything in the realm of stuff that he carries. So it'd be a little bit tough for me to do a blind test. And I think it would be for the same reason. I think it would be hard to do a blind test on him with test strips because he doesn't do designer. And as far as niche, he doesn't even do like Neiman Marcus niche. So he doesn't do Tom Ford, Chanel, Bond Number 9, Amouage, Xerjoff, Creed, Parfum de Marly, Bond Number 9, Frederick Malle, Initio. He doesn't do any of that. He's all like super niche house perfumery. So I don't even think he would know any of my collection because my collection is all based off of inspirations of niche or niche And I only have like probably like 5 to 10 designer. No, actually, no. What am I talking about? I have like 30 designers, but still, like, I don't think he would even like. I gave him Ferragamo bright leather, and he was like, "Whoa, what is this?" You know what I mean? He didn't even know bright leather, and that one's like, to me, in the Ferragamo world, that's like Nautica Voyage level commonplace. So it would be tough. Thoughts on let's see, clone versus real type of thing? We could do that too. Thoughts on our Moth Urban Elixir? It's okay. I give it a 7. It's a good formulation. It's just not that interesting to me. It gets old after a while. I like Seraphim Blue with more wear next summer. It might become a love. Yeah, you know, the creeper, or the sleeper about red though is it macerates pretty well into something unique. They're both really unique though. Like, even though Seraphim Blue is a blue fragrance, so it's more relatable from a masculine standpoint right off the bat. It's also like, it's got that minty, like spa, like eucalyptusy, minty type of tinge to like a blue talisman DNA, but just more herbal and more mentholic. So that, even blue is hard to get around. I mean, I think older men might enjoy it, but I would definitely refer to it as like a challenging fragrance. Scent bubble I picked up Club de Nuit Iconic, Kamarakawa, Peugeot 1, and Odyssey Homme Black. All were your suggestions. Okay. Have you tried them all, Jag? That's quite a lineup. That's quite a lineup. So you basically have Bleu de Chanel EDP, Kamarakawa as its own fragrance. You have a slightly more fruity Aventus Absolute, and you have a Spice Bomb Extreme, Spice Bomb Infrared DNA. Yeah, what are your thoughts? Have you really had some good test strip stuff with it yet? How do I stop my fragrance addiction? Stop spending money on them. Yeah. No, you answered it. You answered it. I don't like to be honest, you really got to ask yourself when you start buying a lot of fragrances. Um, well, here's a good question. How many fragrances do you have? I would like you, and then I have a challenge for you. I would like you to review Amber Oud Exclusive Blue. I probably would never buy that fragrance because, to me, I've put my nose to it already, and I think Lalique White and Black is a better Leighton clone. I'm not a big fan of Leighton. I like Leighton Exclusive, but to me, White and Black from Lalique is Leighton but fresher, which is what I like. Like, to me, to me, that DNA is a lot like Instant Crush. I like Instant Crush, but I don't love it because it smells too boyish. I wish Instant Crush was a little bit fresher instead of more candied, and then I would really like it. Same thing with Leighton. I wish Leighton was a little bit fresher, but Lalique did that. So, you know, do any of you guys rock with Armani codes? Yeah, I mean, Armani Absolute and Armani Code Parfum are really nice to me personally. I think Armani Code Parfum is like a Bleu de Chanel variant, more earthy metallic, fresh green. Armani Absolute has a really nice clone, so I don't really mess with Armani Absolute. I've bought 12 frags in the past 2 days. I barely started my fragrance journey 2 weeks ago. You don't really have a fragrance addiction then, man. And I wish I could call you something. I just don't see a name. But you don't have a fragrance addiction. You just have no fragrances. So it's going to feel like an addiction at first. But I don't know. I would just challenge you, if you've got like under 20 frags, to just like require that you wear each fragrance like 5 times before you buy another fragrance. So if you have 5 fragrances, I want to see you go 25 days before buying another fragrance. That way you get 5 full wearings with all 5 fragrances. I don't care if you switch them up or go back to back, just so you can really sit with the fragrance, because I find a lot of times that we like the way things smell. And so we start buying other fragrances based off of like an initial opening smell and not like dry down and performance and all that stuff. And so we have hunches that we'd like other fragrances based off of not getting a full true wearing experience. And then you wind up buying fragrances that are okay, but not great. So where I'm at in my collection now, as you guys can see, fragrances have to beat out. They have to be completely unique to my shelf, or they have to beat out existing DNAs in that realm for me to buy new fragrances. Otherwise, I'm just buying decants. And I would also challenge you to buy a round of decants before you buy the fragrance. So take 50 bucks, go get yourself like 20 decants. And then from those 20 decants, now you have some legitimate fragrances that you've worn and that you're interested in buying. If you don't decant a fragrance, you are blind buying every fragrance purchase, and that's very risky. How do you deal with having so many frags? Won't some of them spoil? No, that's a myth. This fragrance right here, here's just 2 fragrances. These are just 2 fragrances from my past, okay? Versace Dreamer. This bottle is approximately 25 years old. Juice is still fine. Fragrance actually smells better than when I bought it. This is an original first batch formulation of Versace Dreamer. This right here is an original formulation of Marc Jacobs by Marc Jacobs. When I bought this, the juice was dang near clear. It was half the tint of this. So as it got older, and this is approximately 25 years old as well. When I bought this to today, it smells the same actually. It's just the juice got darker. But these are 25-year-old fragrances. Those fragrances are probably older than you. Have you ever used Turkish perfume, like these roll-on sticks on your shirt, very long lasting? What's your thoughts on them? I don't really have thoughts on them, but I know like oil-based batches of perfumery are nice. And in fact, they're more healthy for you, because once you add alcohol and synthetics and all that stuff, they're not really good for the skin to absorb. So I'm a big fan of the idea of oils, but I don't wear any oils. I'm just buying clones for now. I plan on buying niche decants now. Yeah, and I mean, don't just buy decants, but also go into the fragrance store. You know, go into an Ulta Beauty, go into, I almost said Euphoria. Go into Ulta Beauty and, what is it? Ulta Beauty and Sephora. And if you go into an Ulta Beauty and or a Sephora, you can smell almost every major designer. So put your nose to all the designers for free right now. Then go buy your niche or hard to find fragrances with like 50 to 100 bucks. And now you've put your nose to over 100 fragrances, probably 20 decants with your 50 bucks, 40 to 50 decants with your 100. And you could easily smell about 50 fragrances in Sephora or Ulta Beauty. And then you take all that knowledge and figure out the next 10, 20 fragrances that you want to buy. And now you know you're not blind buying. Does maceration make a scent better? Absolutely. Absolutely, man. Do you feel like the top notes, especially citrus, don't turn if given enough time? All citruses do different stuff, especially when they're paired with certain things. So there's not a one size fits all rule of thumb for citrus, Cal. Does maceration make a scent better, or does it also affect performance? In my situation, so I can only speak to what I know in my experience, maceration always helps a fragrance. But also in my experience, I've only had 3 fragrances from this entire collection that I actually noticed maceration taking place. And that's Assad, Atlas, and Latafa Eternal Oud. Those fragrances, I didn't like Assad before. I liked it after maceration substantially because the pepper and harshness went away. It became smoother. With Eternal Oud, it was more ashy vanilla. Now it's becoming more smooth and creamy like Grand Soir. And Atlas started losing its weird synthetic bite, but it didn't go all the way away. So I liked it better, but I eventually sold it to a friend of mine who was really interested in trying Atlas because it is so hyped on FragCom. What's your opinion of unisex fragrances? Do you think men and women can wear them at the same time, or should they stick to their own in terms of male and female? No, not at all. Unisex fragrances exist for a reason. Everybody has different opinions on unisex fragrances. You know, some men smell certain fragrances and they're like, even though they're labeled as unisex, they feel like they're feminine leaning or masculine leaning. But there are some like what I would call purely unisex fragrances that I think it's interesting with unisex fragrances. Some unisex fragrances smell the exact same on a man and woman. And then there's some unisex fragrances that smell different on a man versus a woman. Case in point, Angel Share. Angel Share feels more masculine on a man when you smell it on his skin, not on a test strip. It feels feminine on a test strip. But on a woman, it takes almost like a different appearance. Same thing with Instant Crush. Same thing with fragrances like Banana Republic 90 Pure White. Same with fragrances like L'Homme Ideal Extreme. Same with Dior. Same with Oud Satin Mood. So there's a lot of variance when it comes to unisex fragrances. There are some unisex fragrances that are feminine leaning that I can wear and others that are hard to wear. Liam Gray, Grease Charnel clone from BDK. That's hard to wear. It's a very creative, unique, heavy floral, sweet, powdery fragrance with fig. So the fig ramps up the sweetness of the florals, heavy. So if you're somebody who's intimidated by floral sweetness, which is a lot of young men, that's a unisex fragrance you can't really wear. What got me into fragrance is that I discovered that they make me feel good and confident and they boost my mood. Hey, man, welcome to the club. Welcome to the club, my man. What up, Kicks? Hey, man, y'all go follow Kicks Griffey in the chat right now. He's been constantly going live, but he recently just started uploading actual video content, reviewing fragrances. Very cool guy, knowledgeable, great guy to hang out with. I want y'all to show him some love. Y'all need to screenshot his name so you can go follow him after the live. Sephora is down the street for me. I need to go more often. Absolutely. Sephora is one of the quickest ways to get your nose on all of the staple fragrances everybody talks about in the baseline of perfumery as it relates to designer. You need to get your nose on Gucci fragrances. It opens your mind to metallics, spices, and sweetness. You need to get your nose on Chanel. It gets you in the realm of designer that feels expensive and deals more with freshness. You need to get into Dior fragrances, which deal a lot with kind of contrasting elements, like florals that come into contact with, leathers, and it like contrasts masculine, seductive, slight feminine, soft but edgy, or edgy but soft fragrances. You need to get your nose on Azzaro fragrances. They mess with date night and they mess with metallics. You need to get your nose on Spice Bomb, which deals with, spices, vanillas, and tobaccos, and does varying nuances of that. You need to mess with 1 Million and Paco Rabanne, and get your nose around aquatics and seductive boy toy date night fragrances. You need to get your nose on Jean Paul Gaultier and mess with um, tropicals and exotic sweet fragrances. You need to get your nose on Givenchy, very expensive niche type of perfumery, which deals mostly in date night seductive and classy seductive masculine fragrances. Um, what else? I mean, that's why you go into designer, because a lot of the niche perfumery and clone perfumery, truthfully, is all based around designer based DNAs, and they elevate them or take them into a new space by adding other accords on top of real baseline accords. So like you'll notice really quickly that vanilla, cardamom, and amber is like a baseline DNA for most seductive fragrances for date night. So knowing what nuance of spice, amber, and honey or tobacco and all that, you can start to see like, okay, well, everybody uses vanilla and amber. And then where they differ is where some people go honey, some people go tobacco, some people go herbal. You know what I'm saying? Some people go tropical, some people go smoky or with metallics. You know, most people only blend citruses with metallics. But if you're messing with something like Chanel Allure Homme Sport, then they mix in some vanilla and stuff like that. So knowing base DNAs like citruses on woods, different variations of woods, earthiness, earthy notes such as, you know, oak moss and um, uh, suede and leather and patchouli and you know, and stuff like that. Like just familiarizing yourself with different DNAs, aquatics, um, the varying category of freshies, you know, fresh earthy, fresh green, fresh herbal, fresh aquatic, fresh citrus, fresh fruity, fresh linen, fresh soapy. These are the things you want to dig out in the designer realm, and they really can train your nose well to really not just notice things, but notice the different tiers of excellence so that you can truthfully see what you identify with and what speaks to you to even know what you'll go with. Some stuff smells great in the air, but terrible on your skin. Some stuff smells great in the air, but it doesn't really affect your mood much. It doesn't change the vibe when you walk into a room. And so it won't really speak to you as much. I have some fragrances that are great in the air, but they don't really speak to me in my skin when I go out and wear them. And I notice that because of that, I wear them less. So going to a Sephora is actually in some ways 100% better than ordering decants, even though I do both. Okay. So I go to Sephora's and Ulta's to explore the entirety of the mass appealing designer realm. I go to the decants to explore the realm of niche perfumery. And between those two, I start to discover and wear and nose train so that I'm dang near never blind buying. Okay, let me run through the chat. Of course, Kicks, of course, anytime. Yak Mob. Rank each floor rack on your fragrance shelf. Absolutely not. Is Sephora a store where I can freely put my nose on every fragrance without employees? Absolutely. Absolutely. Sephora and Ulta Beauty, absolutely. You might have one chick come up to you and ask you if everything's cool. You just say, yep, and you get to sniffing. You know, I see people go into Ulta Beauty and Sephora. I consider those places pretty ratchet because, like, I remember seeing a gay dude go inside a Sephora one time and he knew people doing hair in the back because there's in some Sephoras, there's like a beauty salon in the back. This fool walked in there and sprayed Tom Ford Rose Cafe 20 times on his skin. I'm not lying. He took Rose Cafe and he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And I thought he was going to run out the store. But no, he sprayed all that on and then he walked to the beauty center in the back and talked with the employees. It was the craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life. So You absolutely can spray fragrances all day long in there if you want, because kids go in there all the time and go nuts. Nah, they absolutely are commission based. It's commission on top of a salary, or commission on top of an hourly. In beauty product stores, it's always incentivized business. You get a base pay that's typically lower than minimum wage because you have incentivized commission based off the products you move. Neiman Marcus, Macy's is not aggressive at all. Neiman Marcus, Macy's is on the same tier as Ulta Beauty and stuff. They're just going to ask you one time, maybe a second employee if you're lingering there too long. Neiman Marcus is extremely aggressive because when you go to the Chanel table, there is a Chanel rep and a bodyguard standing right there. When you go to Bond number 9, you're going to see people there from Yugoslavia and all that, talking in foreign languages. When you go to Creed, there's going to be 2 Creed reps and another bodyguard. Neiman Marcus is a whole different ball game. You need to go in there with a story, a route, and some serious intention, because if you don't, you're going to wind up going in there and only smelling like 10, 15 fragrances and being intimidated and walking out. I actually have an instructional video on the best way to smell the most fragrances, get the most samples, and not even touch the idea of buying a fragrance. And it's just sitting on my phone. I just haven't dropped it yet because I'm waiting until I get through all my reviews. But Neiman Marcus is the only pressure place. But as long as you dress fly so that you look like you could actually afford a fragrance, and you have a bit of a story to your intent for why you're there and what you're doing, and you walk around there like you're familiar with the houses, you can move, and your talk game is good enough. You know, you can just run your little story by each person if they come up to you and bounce them off like repellent. You know what I'm saying? And then the real cheat code is when you're in a Neiman Marcus, you're actually trying to find the rep that likes you the most. So as you go to each table, having a story like, hey, my birthday's coming up, I'm looking through all the fragrances to see kind of what I want to narrow down because my girl's going to come in here at some point and pick some fragrances up for me. Then once you share that story with each rep at each table, then certain people will really gravitate to you. You know, if there's a rep coming up to you and they're really excited from that story, and so they're like, okay, there was a rep last time I went like 3 weeks ago. There was a rep from Initio that she was a Russian chick that spoke really poor English. But when I told her, hey, my wife's coming in next week to get me a fragrance, I got to narrow some stuff down, she said, okay. She came out from the back of the bar and she said, you will smell every Initio fragrance I want you to buy from me. Here's my card. She doesn't even have to step foot in this store. She can text me and I'll send it directly to her house. But I'm going to send you home with any samples that you like, and I'm going to let you smell every fragrance. So she opened up every bottle of Initio and gave me like 20 test strips, and we went through every single fragrance. And I told her, you know, which ones I liked. She sent me home with like 3 or 4 3 ml decants, along with all the test strips, wrote the names on the test strips. That's the kind of person you want to gravitate towards when you go to a Neiman Marcus, because they're going to hook you up with samples galore. They're going to walk you through a fragrance line really quick. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what's dope is then when you can start going into a Neiman Marcus and someone knows you by name and they pull you from all the reps, because all the reps in Neiman Marcus rep each individual line. They're not on the same team. They all make individual commission rates and all that stuff. So when you can find one person that knows you by name, you walk into a Neiman's, they flag you over and they say, hey, what do you want to try today? And they'll walk you to the other tables and tell the other reps, hey, I got this. And then they'll move them out of the way, because every rep is licensed to sell any fragrance in there. It's just they make more commission on particular houses that they actually personally represent. But that doesn't mean that you can't have somebody escort you through there so you don't have to talk to anybody. So there's a lot of tricks and tips that would help your guys's, like when I went to Neiman Marcus last, I came home with 30 test strips and like I think 12 decants or something like that. And I smelled over 100 fragrances. So there's a little bit of finesse to this game. Any good alternatives to Les Sables roses? No, I don't know any, Tristan. I'm sorry. I smelled CKB and it smelled like the best thing all day. Interesting. CKB ain't bad. I think it's orange on the top. The black bottle. All right, guys. I've been in here 46 minutes. I'm gonna be in here for about 3-4 more minutes. Let me know any other questions y'all got, and then we're gonna sign off for the night. Thanks for sweeping the nerds out, Joel. Got a lot of nerds sometimes that like to, you know, they don't have friends. They sit on their computer on a Friday night. So Lafayette Street. Yeah, I saw that comment, NYC. I saw that comment, bro. Let's take a look at something real quick. I'll take you guys with me. See if we can find CK Eternity for our boy here. We're going to head over to fragrancebuy.ca. Yeah, so Fragrance by CA has this. Can I zoom in? I can. So Eternity is 28 bucks for a 100 ml tester. 28 bucks. You can get a 30 ml for 20. That doesn't make any sense. 100 ml boxed, 31. So you can spend 31 brand new. 31 bucks brand new, 28 for the tester. Yeah. There you go, bud. Eternity Summer. If any of you guys can get Calvin Klein's Summer Breeze flanker, send me a link for that on Instagram. What is it? Eternity Summer. Yeah, I mean, there's a ton of Eternity Summer. You can get that for 20 bucks. Joma has it. Joma has it. FragranceNet has it. Oof. All right. 2 more minutes left for tonight, boys. Oof. Nah, they're not out of stock. Nah, they're in stock on Joma, bro. I just pulled it up. Appreciate you. Yeah, it's really dirty right now. We're gonna clean it up tomorrow when I shoot episodes, but typically when I shoot my long form content, that's why I painted that wall gray. It's got my plaques and everything. Normally that stuff's all cleared off, and we put this desk right there with a laptop and everything and make it look real professional. So this is my film side to my studio. This is my music side to my studio. Can we zoom out? There we go. Yeah. So. But yeah. Can't really show the whole room, but it's pretty dope. Um, with Jerjoff, okay, so let me say this. With Jerjoff fragrances, I don't have the most experience with Jerjoff. I've probably only put my nose to about 6 fragrances from Jerjoff. I like Lua. I like, there's something called like Terran 22 or something that I like. Noxos is cool. Renaissance is not cool. I didn't like Herba Pura, but I liked Herba. There's a couple other I've tried, but those are some of the standouts. I personally don't gel with a lot of Xerjoff. They're very unique, and I need to just spend a little bit more time with them because they're super highly unique fragrances. It's like Amouage. Amouage is another house where it's like, you know, Interlude Man and Jubilation 22 and all that weird stuff, um and yeah, Renaissance, Jubilation. There's a couple other ones I forget the names of, but like Xerjoff and Amouage are fragrance houses that I need to spend more time with because when I just put my nose to them in Neiman's, I get kind of confused. I see. Understandable. Well, yeah, guys, I'm gonna sign off for the night. I'm getting pretty tired. I need to get my sleep. Driving home tonight took me like 2 hours. I was all the way on the other side of town. Took my son to the Harlem Globetrotters arena. So, but anyways, guys, this is the Scent Bubble Man. Stay tuned for the new episodes. If there was any questions that you had that I didn't answer or that come to your mind, just list them in the comments section of this live, and I'll respond in less than 24 hours. You guys know I'm good for it. Appreciate you guys for the likes on the channel, and we're still dropping episodes each and every day. I appreciate you guys. Always a fun time in here. Y'all have a good sleep tonight. Peace.